Figure out a higher way to hold the key.
You know, I could go for some chocolate energy. Woo! Okay, everybody, welcome to our kitchen. Tonight we're gonna make a shamanic quality chocolate, and by shamanic quality we just mean a high grade chocolate that'll give us a sort of altered state by the combination of ingredients that we use. It's gonna be really fun. And so what I want to do first is just do a rundown of all the ingredients we'll be working with and just give a brief sense of why we're going to be using those ingredients. The basic blueprint that we'll be working with our particular chocolate batch, which will be a bark variety, almost like a toffee, will be fat. We're going to use organic raw coconut oil and cacao butter. Then the chocolate itself, which we're going to use a combination of cacao powder and a little bit of carob powder for fun. And then the sweetener, which we have a variety here. We have coconut crystals, sugar, we have a stevia concentrate, whole leaf stevia concentrate. We have a redwood honey that our good friends made, that's amazing. And then we have some molasses that I don't know that we'll be using in this batch, but it's a available ingredient. Then we have sort of like trail mixy type ingredients that we're going to put in one batch of bark tonight for fun. We have a combination of just dried fruits, golden raisins, cherries, walnut pieces, pumpkin seeds. So that's really fun for texture, especially in our batch. And then finally, we have a bunch of spices and different high nutrition superfoods that we're going to throw into one batch to make a really extra shamanic, activating, like, oh, my brain's turned on type batch. It's going to be a lot of fun. And it really works. Spirulina, chlorella, and then spices we're working with are going to be like ginger, cayenne, maybe some cinnamon, definitely vanilla. These are the basic blueprint, which simply put again is just the chocolate, the oil, and the sweetener, and then the extra accoutrement, spices, or nuts and things like that. To begin, I'm just going to get a little bowl of fat going up. I've got a nice chunk of raw organic coconut oil here, and I've got a chunk of cacao butter, which I'm going to grate into this bowl. It can be difficult to get your cacao butter to melt, whereas your coconut oil will melt instantly. And so, if you grate it, then you get more surface area and it'll melt really quickly and you can kind of get moving rather than just sort of twiddling thumbs while you wait for it to melt. So that's what I'm going to do. Cacao cheese. Okay, so we happen to have a wood fire stove going to keep our house in the Sierras warm. And for that reason we're just going to go ahead and use that for our chocolate bark that we'll be making. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my double boiler set up here. We just have a pot of water with another pot on top, and the steam is heating the bottom here, which will then heat our oil. Okay, so now we got a cool mix here of raw cacao powder and raw carob powder, both organic. And we're going to stir that into our oil on the wood fire stove with this here handy wooden spoon. Okay, now I'm adding in the cacao powder to the melted coconut oil and cacao butter. This is essentially reuniting the fiber of the cacao bean back with its fat. If you're so fortunate to be working with cacao paste, you won't really actually have to do the process like that. You can just throw your paste in and that will melt. The paste is the processed bean that's melted into a whole paste form. Whereas we're working with separate fat and fiber. Now we're bringing them back together. Here we go. Okay, so we have our reunited paste to a nice thickness. Yeah, kind of like that. It's not pure runny liquid, but it's not really sticking to the spoon. It's like a sticky runny liquid, somewhere in between. See that? Next we're going to add a little bit of vanilla bean, vanilla extract. In the rainforest, the cacao is growing on trees and fruit-like pods, and the vanilla bean will vine up the cacao. You know, they kind of have a synergy the way they grow, and then the vanilla bean is pollinated by moonlight, by moths, right? Pretty cool. Whereas the cacao is a fruit. It has a very solar energy. It's typically thought to be very stimulating in nature. It has theobromine, that's the ene, in it. So yeah, it's more of a solar energy, which we're going to balance with the lunar vanilla. To support Cassidy in his sugar fast, which I should be on, but I lacked the discipline to do it today, we're going to add some stevia concentrate. This is whole leaf stevia concentrate. So it's not like some of the stevia you see today, it's just a powder. That's sort of like, it's honestly like the cocaine of stevia. They just extract out the sweet factor, and they're like, what was the other stuff? We don't really care about that, we just want the sweet. So this is the whole leaf concentrate, which means you're getting the full information of the stevia leaf. So for this initial batch, we're ready for the final accoutrement. We're going to put our Himalayan salt in there. We're going to put some cayenne in there. Cayenne is used a lot in traditional shamanic preparations. And it takes the medicine of the cacao right into your blood. We're going to add a little bit of ginger. No, I mean like a little bit of turmeric flavor in there would be fine.
But not this fresh turmeric root dipped in chocolate?
No. No.
I think that'd be good. This is probably ready.
Dude, you're gonna be... Cassidy loves turmeric, so we're gonna put some turmeric in there. And in Ayurveda, turmeric is considered to be tridoshic balancer, so it balances all the doshas. Ooh, I really like it. It's sour. Well, our batch actually came out like much thicker than we had intended, but it'll still be really good.
You could just even make it into little mush balls and put it in the freezer.
Yeah, we could do mush balls where we could just kind of
plop it in the thing.
Plop it.
Or you could just leave it as a plop.
If there's more surface area, it'll harden more quickly. Okay, so we're gonna sift in our powder to our fat so that we don't get a lot of chunks in there. And it'll just mix up a lot easier and be a lot more effortless, the path of least resistance.
This is our second batch of cacao. Came out. The bark is not so barky, it's more chunky. And the main reason for this, we've deduced, is because we put in ingredients like the stevia drops and the vanilla extract, which had water. And so water and oil don't mix, so they cause this separation to happen, where the oil kind of dripped out, and the cacao and the flavor nugs are still delicious, but just not so smooth. So let that be a lesson to you. Put in only powders and oils into your cacao when you're making bark.
He's right. Oil and water, no bueno. So things like stevia extract, vanilla extract, different alcohols that have a water content are going to cause a separation. So better to just stick with coconut oil, cacao butter, different powders, sweeteners, these kinds of things. Okay, so we're pulling out our bark that we mixed correctly. It has a nice texture and consistency. It'll kind of be like a hard chocolate bar, crunchy chocolate. So we're going to come over here and cut into it. Barks are really fun because you can whip them up real fast and just pour them onto a tray or a plate or some kind of dish, throw them in the freezer, and everybody just parties.